So, guys, this right here is the Right Honorable Mark Wayne Mullen, United States Senator for Oklahoma. Now, I want to apologize to my international viewers because I have a lot of international folks. But this one is for the Americans. If you want to hang around. You might learn something about American politics. And you might ask yourself, too, what does this have to do with Ukraine? Well, it has a lot to do with Ukraine because this guy right here is part of that far-right MAGA crowd that's currently in charge of the legislative agenda in the United States and is holding up support for Ukraine. So the party of Ronald Reagan, and not even the whole party, about 15% of it, guys like this, are holding the American military hostage for their own political agendas, their own personal religious beliefs. And I have an example of that. Now, most famously, this character, who by trade is an MMA fighter, so naturally the people of Oklahoma thought he'd make a great senator. Well, this guy is most famous, of course, for having challenged a Teamsters boss, which is funny in itself, to a fisticuffs on the floor of the Senate. Now, of course, Mark Wayne Mullins is such a tough guy that when Bernie Sanders, a nearly 90-year-old man, told him to sit his butt down, he did. Not exactly the tough guy image you want to portray when you're going to take on a Teamster on the floor of the Senate. Anyway, so Clown Boy here, he got a letter. He got one of the Tommy Tuberville templates from one of the viewers of this channel, and he offered a response. I will not read the obscene, theocratic response that he sent to a person who's been a big supporter of the channel and who I respect. But I will read this part because this part goes to the point of how the Republicans create problems like what they're doing right now, like Tuberville is doing right now. And just to be clear, Tuberville is holding up. There's a clause in the United States Constitution that the president will appoint, ambassadors, command positions in the military with the advise and consent of the Senate. And so normally the president makes his appointments. There's a vote on the Senate floor. Everybody goes yay. And then we have a new chief of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, or we have a new commandant of the Marine Corps, or whatever it is, right? Well, Tommy Tuberville has single-handedly been holding these appointments up for 9 months. 9 months. And lots of the folks on this channel have sent letters to their senators urging them to put an end to Tommy Tuberville's obstruction. Because what this has done is damaged American military readiness. It's damaged American military morale. It has damaged American military recruitment. The idea that the party of Reagan is pulling the rug out from underneath the American military, holding our military families hostage for their own crazy personal religious beliefs, is insanity of the worst sort. And this guy is part of it. Now, but to give you an idea of the way that these guys do victim blaming and blame the Democrats for this situation, in his letter he writes, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is always able to bring the nominations to the floor through a regular order. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is true. It is also true, and as Senator Mullins fails to point out, that to do this one by one would take approximately 89 legislative days. That's not a practical solution. That's ridiculous. The Senate has other things to do. You mean to tell me that you're going to tie up for 90 days the United States Senate just to... And when they did this a couple weeks ago, Tuberville objected in there. So one senator, that's all it takes, is one holdout, one obstructionist son of a bitch. Now, I would say that it's Tuberville's doing all this, and it has been up until now. But this letter and the failure of Senate Republicans to take their member to task, and in fact, Senate Republicans like this, who clearly support him, this is no longer Tommy Tuberville. This is the Republican Party obstructing the United States military, harming American military readiness, harming American military morale, harming American military recruitment. At a time when we need the men and women of our armed forces on the ball and ready for action, between the threats of China, Israel, and Russia, Iran, and North Korea, and we're letting these people degrade and dehumanize the men and the women who guard them in their sleep? Give me a fucking break. It's obscene, and they should all be ashamed of themselves. If you haven't sent your Tommy Tuberville emailed message template to your senators yet, please reach out to me or Vanetta. See me on the live tonight. We're going to talk about this clown a little bit. Thank you.